Hello, friends. Welcome to Mailbag Monday. This is where I answer questions that you have submitted, and I share my opinion from a holistically healthy point of view. Before we get started, I want to simply share that I am not a doctor. I cannot treat, diagnose, or prescribe. I do not ever do those things. I am a certified nutrition educator. I also am not your personal wellness professional. So if you submit questions that I am unable to answer, I will certainly let you know. But the information shared here is meant to be for general consumption and does not constitute medical advice in any way. So we are going to open up the mailbag box that I have here and pull out a few cards so that we can get started. And the first one that we have today is about laundry. It says, what do you think about those laundry sheets? And I know a lot of people are starting to look at shifting how they're doing their laundry. They've realized that perhaps the big box detergents that they've been buying forever are not necessarily good for us. There may be ingredients in there that are not a great choice, or they may not be very eco-friendly. So I'm really glad that you asked this question. I know there's a lot of information or a lot of ads out there promoting the laundry sheets. I'm actually not a fan of the sheets. Many of them tend to be made with something called polyvinyl alcohol, and that's the substrate. That's what they're based on, also known as PVA or PVOH. And when you're doing laundry with that, those can break down and become a microplastic in the environment. So in other words, they don't dissolve completely, especially if you do a cold water wash. I do a lot of cold water washes. And so that's definitely an issue. Also, because they don't break down completely, you may wind up getting clumpy bits of detergent on your laundry. And so that's not very attractive. And then I've also heard that if they get humid or damp, depending on where you live or what your situation is, they can sometimes stick together, and then you have a whole bunch of sheets stuck together. You have to kind of peel them apart. So not necessarily a great choice. So now you're probably wondering what I use. So I will share with you my favorite laundry products are from Truly Free Home. I've been using them for, I think, almost 6 years now, and I'm still a fan. I even have the original bottle. They've been through a couple of label refresh over the last few years, and I still have the original bottle. So that's actually something else to think about when you're doing laundry. Think about all the plastic waste that you're generating. You know, you're buying a new bottle of detergent, a new bottle of laundry rinse, maybe a new bottle of fabric softener or whatever, and all those bottles are going into the landfill. And plastic does not break down the way we think it does. It takes hundreds of years, and a lot of those bottles may not actually be recyclable, so they go to the landfill and they just sit there forever. So I'm not a fan of that. I love the fact that I still have the same bottle. I get refill packets, I add my own water, and then the packet container is recyclable. So that's great. It's a package that has no harmful ingredients in it. I find it works really, really well. And so I'm a fan of the Truly Free Home products. I'll put a link down below so you can try it out too. All right, next question. Calcium. I can't drink milk and I'm concerned about my calcium levels. What should I do? This is actually a really great question. You know, one of the things that happens is we have been co-opted by the Dairy Council to believe that the absolute best way for us to get calcium, and the only way we can really get calcium, is if we drink milk or use dairy products. And I'm not saying that you have to do those. I'm also not saying that you shouldn't do those. But if you're someone who can't do milk, or you're concerned about the amount of milk that you're doing, then you may want to recognize that there are actually other delicious ways to get calcium into your diet. Before I tell you about that, I do want to take a little sidestep. and talk about calcium for a second. For those people who do consume dairy products from animal source dairy, cows in this country, in America, tend to be given a hormone called recombinant bovine somatropin or recombinant bovine growth hormone, RBST, RBGH. And that hormone is designed to make the cows give more milk. It does not go away when they milk the cow, which means if you are consuming milk from cows that have that, then you are getting added hormone that your body does not need and which is not good for you. There are some studies that indicate that consumption of this can be linked to an increase for insulin growth factor 1, which then can become a precursor for things like diabetes, et cetera, et cetera. So we really just don't want to be drinking conventional milk and milk that has added hormones in it. So just to be aware of that. If you can't drink milk, however, that's not the only way you get your calcium. So one of my favorite ways to get calcium is through dark leafy greens. That's right. All those things, kale and collard greens and spinach and beet greens and all those, they have calcium, a lot of calcium. So that can be a really great way to do it. Another really great thing, as long as there's no allergy, is sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are very, very high in calcium. And so that can be a really delicious addition to the diet. And I really love to use tahini as a way to add in the calcium. I've been known to take a spoonful of tahini and throw it into a smoothie. It's also great when you use it to make a salad dressing, a tahini salad dressing. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use sesame seeds and tahini in the diet. So that's definitely a good thing. And then there's one more green that we don't generally tend to think of, but a lot of us need more of it, and that is seaweed. There's a lot of different kinds of seaweed, snacky seaweeds that we can either eat straight up or we can cook and add to our food. And it's a good source of calcium as well as iodine, which is really good for us. So don't worry about not drinking cow's milk, and know that you can get calcium from plant-based sources and be okay. All right, last question here. Veganism. It says, I'm a vegan. Some food labels say made in a facility that also processes eggs. Can I still eat it? And the answer is, that's really a personal choice. So for people who are not aware of this, vegans do not eat any animal product whatsoever. So they don't eat meat or fish or eggs or dairy. They also don't eat honey or bee pollen. Many of them do not eat sugar because sugar tends to be processed through bone char. So nothing that has any animal input whatsoever. They don't wear leather, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not here to advocate for or against a vegan diet. I'm simply here to answer the question. And this is actually something that becomes a personal decision. If it's processed in the same facility as a place that would, also process eggs or possibly even dairy, those tend to be fairly common, there is a potential for cross-contamination. And so you need to decide if you're willing to consume it because there's a potential for cross-contamination, or if you simply don't want to do that at all, and then you don't buy that product. So that really is something where you have to think about what your choices are, why you're making that choice to be a vegan, and how important it is to you to make sure that there is absolutely no animal input whatsoever, if that's important to you. So those are the questions for this episode of Mailbag Monday. Thank you so much for watching. And I will put the link down below where you can leave your questions and let me know what you would like holistically healthy answers from the Ingredient Guru on. And I really enjoy doing this for you. So thanks so much for watching, and be sure to let me know what you think down below. All right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.